This year's prom season starts on the 19th of July, and the BBC Proms Guide for 2002 has full details of all the concerts, and it's available at bookshops or from BBC i at bbc.co.uk/proms.
To celebrate the Jubilee, the BBC brings you one unmissable star-studded pop concert, live from Buckingham Palace, featuring everyone from Sir Paul McCartney to Blue. Party at the Palace, Monday, 3rd of June, 7:30 on BBC One and Radio 2.
Heroes will travel to the east, but they will not travel alone. Join them. Live on BBC One.
What an amazing
Every match on BBC Radio 5 Live. And interactive on BBC I, anytime. World Cup 2002.
Listening to BBC Radio 5 Live.
The winning team from the BBC.
And there are highlights of the Cup so far here on BBC One in 20 minutes. First, the news and sport with Darren Jordan and Mary Rhodes.
Prom at the Palace, the Golden Jubilee kicks off with a star-studded classic spectacular. Fireworks, music and dance, the Queen joins thousands for the Royal Extravaganza. Crisis over Kashmir, the first British and foreign families start to leave India. And the former South African cricket captain Hansie Cronje has died in a plane crash. Good evening. Tens of thousands of people have gathered around Buckingham Palace tonight at the start of a weekend of celebrations marking the Queen's Golden Jubilee. Some were lucky enough to witness a spectacular classical concert from within the grounds of the palace itself. Many more were outside. From Buckingham Palace, Jenny Bond reports.
It was a day they'll all remember. 12,000 people in the Queen's back garden enjoying a pre-prom picnic. Never before had the palace lawns been host to such a vast and informal gathering. Dress code was strictly, well, whatever you fancied, from the distinctly scanty to the decidedly smart.
It's really hard to take it all in. Just keep looking around and thinking that's the palace in the background there and I'm here. It's just incredible.
Not a bad backyard. Yes, if I could have this, I think I'd be very happy.
Street theatre, with a touch of sophistication, had welcomed them into the palace. Security was tight. Jewellery and watches had to be removed before going in, but no one seemed to mind. For most, it was the chance of a lifetime, and they seized the moment to record it for posterity.
We feel so lucky to be here. So happy.
By 8 o'clock, the scene was set for the BBC prom at the palace to begin. 18 members of the royal family were there to watch, and for the first time, Camilla Parker Bowles was invited by the Queen to join them in the royal box. With Princess Alexandra in front and the Duke of Kent behind, she took her place with the family, but in a carefully choreographed plan, she was several seats away from Prince Charles and the Queen, whose arrival signalled the true start of this 4-day festival of Jubilee celebrations. Appropriately, the concert began with Zadok the Priest, composed by Handel for the coronation of George II. It's been played at every coronation since, including the Queen's 49 years ago. Among the stars, Dame Kirita Kanawa, a favourite of the royal family. She sang at Prince Charles's wedding. Tonight, she chose Gershwin. There was a place, too, for an up-and-coming star, 12-year-old clarinet prodigy Julian Bliss. And as the finale approached, the night sky was lit up by a blaze of fireworks over the palace. For the Queen and her guests alike, it was a night to remember. Jenny Bond, BBC News at Buckingham Palace.
Well, the concert was enjoyed by thousands who gathered to watch it on screens put up outside the palace. June Kelly has been with the crowds throughout the evening.
The area around Buckingham Palace took on the feel of a piazza as thousands gathered to see the show on massive 100-foot screens. People of all ages came to savour the world's top operatic talent.
It's a reflection of the diverse interests of everybody, and I think it's lovely that people have their interests catered for, the classical and the pop on Monday, which is great.
There's just like thousands of people here, and it just shows how much everyone loves the Queen. Everyone thinks she's doing a brilliant job.
Others were also flying the flag. The Jubilee celebrations are being seen as a barometer of the popularity of the monarchy. Buckingham Palace says it wants the whole country to feel part of these 4 days of celebrations. Tonight's concert is being screened in cities throughout the UK. This evening's event was blessed by good weather. The organisers know that in the next few days they might not be so lucky. June Kelly, BBC News at Buckingham Palace.
Well, I'm joined now by Jenny Bond at Buckingham Palace. Jenny, this was a terrific start to the Jubilee weekend celebrations, wasn't it?
Well, it really has been a fantastic evening down here. Thousands of people in the palace, thousands of people outside here, all enjoying an evening to remember. Fantastic recital. And for the Queen and her family who are in there, they were very touched, I think, by the tribute to her. And when there was Land of Hope and Glory was playing at the end, they were all joining in. Prince Charles was waving his programme. I think they all thoroughly enjoyed themselves too. And it's all going to be repeated, of course, on Monday when we have the BBC party at the palace with rock stars in there. So I think then we'll have an even more rumbustious atmosphere outside. Tonight it was really quite sedate, but we're hoping that in the next few minutes the Queen and the family are going to lead some of the artists and musicians out here to the front of the palace, and that's why people are gathering now. The word's gone about, and we're hoping that's going to happen quite soon.
OK, Jenny, thank you very much indeed. And we'll go back to Jenny Bond a little bit later in the programme if Her Majesty the Queen does come to the gates of Buckingham Palace. Pakistan's president has described talk of a nuclear war with India as irresponsible. General Musharraf was speaking as fears grew of a conflict over Kashmir. Nevertheless, some Britons and other foreign nationals have started to leave the region.
Lucky's going home too, part of the exodus from India. Tonight's flights from Delhi, the first opportunity for many to follow the advice that India is no longer safe. Time to leave.
The company's pulled us out, really. They just said to go home. It's safer at home, so not to stay here.
We're not happy about leaving, though. Yeah, but hopefully we'll be back very soon.
Airports are emotional places at the best of times. Plenty of tears were shed tonight. There are 20,000 Britons in India. They're being contacted by the High Commission in Delhi.
There is now a growing list of countries advising their nationals not to come here to India. France, Russia, Belgium, Australia, the Philippines, among a number of countries who've decided, like the United States and Britain, it is simply too dangerous.
Many are going, but many too will stay, deciding that they face little or no threat here in India. The demand for seats on aircraft leaving Delhi has rarely been greater. Saturday, normally a quiet day for travel agents, has been frantic.
Since about 5 o'clock yesterday, I've been getting calls, desperate calls, anxious calls, Britishers, Canadians, US citizens to leave India immediately on the first available flight.
Tonight, in what's seen as a small easing of tensions, President Musharraf of Pakistan has said talk about the use of nuclear weapons is irresponsible. India has a well-established no first-use policy. And in Delhi, at India Gate, a memorial to the dead of the First World War, a peace vigil, urging leaders to pull back from conflict.
And Adam Minot joins me from Delhi now. Adam, as you were saying in your piece, some people are already leaving India, but this latest statement from President Musharraf seems to show that at least one side may be prepared to step back.
Yes, I think people will be drawing comfort from this if these are genuinely the thoughts of General Musharraf. I think there'd been a big fear in the international community that were conflict to start at a conventional level, Pakistan is vastly outnumbered by Indian forces. The chances are that Pakistan would be defeated initially, go into retreat. That apparently is the classic situation for a military commander to decide to use the nuclear option. Now, if President Musharraf is genuinely ruling that out, then that clearly must be seen as a very good sign. There is a caveat, there always is, I guess, in these situations. India says that they often don't believe the words of President Musharraf. They say the very issue over which they're divided over Kashmir, the infiltration of militants into Indian-administered Kashmir, which he says has stopped, Indians say has not stopped. So there are concerns over that as well. Darren.
Adam, thank you very much for that. The South African President, Thabo Mbeki, has paid tribute to his country's former cricket captain, Hansie Cronje, who's died in a plane crash. Cronje, a national hero until he was found guilty of match fixing 2 years ago, was travelling from Bloemfontein when the plane crashed into a mountain range near his hometown of George in the Western Cape province.
The plane carrying Hansie Cronje was trying to land in poor weather when it came down high in a mountain range in the Western Cape province. The end of life for a man who was more than a sporting hero in his homeland. As South Africa's youngest captain in the decade of the nation's re-emergence from the isolation of apartheid, he represented hope, until, that is, his spectacular fall. Before the King Commission, he admitted accepting more than $100,000 to influence the course of matches.
Yes, I accepted money from bookmakers. Yes, I was trying to feed them information.
Banned from cricket for life, he vowed to stay in South Africa to work to make up for what he called his mistake. Fellow cricketers remember an accomplished player, but know his tarnished reputation will be what most recall.
He probably won't be remembered for his cricket, and he'll only be remembered for the scandal that he caused, and it's very sad for himself and his family.
Hansie Cronje was pursuing a limited career in coaching and the media when he died. Clarence Mitchell, BBC News.
With just over 12 hours to go to their opening game against Sweden, England's World Cup squad and fans are in buoyant mood. David Beckham looks certain to captain the team after completing his last training session. An estimated 6,000 England fans are in Tokyo for the first crucial fixture.
There is saturation policing in downtown Tokyo tonight. The Japanese authorities are keeping a wary eye on the thousands of football fans who've descended on the city. Among them, England and Sweden supporters here ahead of tomorrow's crucial match. So far, there have been no disturbances, but the police aren't taking any chances. They have undercover officers mingling with the crowds. Japanese police say they'll crack down hard on the slightest sign of trouble. They've got powers to hold hooligans for up to 20 days without charge.
We do actually love the Swedish team. We think they're very good.
But so far the atmosphere is friendly. English and Swedish fans shaking hands, wishing each other luck for tomorrow.
You know, I think the people that cause trouble, they're just idiots. People should come and just watch the football, enjoy themselves. Oh, mate. You know, and let's hope there's no problems. I don't think there will be. I hope there won't be.
Some Swedes are worried what England fans will do if they lose.
What about the atmosphere here? Is it good with the England fans?
It's very good here today, but something else can happen tomorrow if we win, I think.
Tonight, England fans are enjoying the World Cup carnival. Noisy and boisterous, but good-natured. The authorities here just hope it stays that way. Ben Brown, BBC News, Tokyo.
A teenager has been freed by kidnappers who'd threatened to kill him if a ransom of £100,000 wasn't paid. The 16-year-old was taken from his home just outside Belfast 5 days ago and dumped from a car a few miles away early today. Several people have been arrested. Police say the victim has been through a terrible ordeal.
We have been trying to work very carefully and to support the family throughout this, and at the same time our people have been doing an absolutely brilliant job behind the scenes to try and make sure this young man's safety was protected, and we're absolutely delighted that we've done that today. We're also delighted that we've been able to arrest a number of people.
Now, with news of all the action on the second day of the World Cup and today's cricket, here's Mary Rhodes. Mary.
Yes, thanks very much, Darren. The Republic of Ireland came from behind to draw 1-1 with African champions Cameroon in Niigata. Manager Mick McCarthy gave his side a tough talk at half-time, ensuring the departure of Roy Keane didn't overshadow their performance.
Painting the town green, thousands of Ireland fans made the trip to Nagata for what was Japan's first taste of the World Cup experience, and no mention here of the missing man Roy Keane. At least now Ireland's players could focus solely on the task in hand. It was Cameroon who got off to the better start though, and their reward came just before half-time. The defence carved up, Sunderland's Patrick Mboma on hand to score. It didn't take Ireland much of the second half to draw level. When the ball dropped to Matt Holland, his precise shot found the corner.
Oh yes! It's Matt Holland!
Ireland finished the stronger and almost won it as the other Keane, Robbie, beat the goalkeeper and rattled the post.
Considering Ireland's World Cup warm-up, there'll be real satisfaction at this start to their campaign. The next challenge comes on Wednesday against Germany.
And back home in Dublin, this was the moment at one pub when Matt Holland scored the equaliser. So next for Ireland in Group E come Germany. The three-time former champions got off to the best possible start with an 8-0 win over Saudi Arabia. Miroslav Klose getting a hat-trick. In Group A, Denmark also began with a win. They beat Uruguay 2-1. Former Newcastle striker Jon Dahl Tomasson scored both goals. This one, the winner, 7 minutes from time. So just 12 hours to go before all the hype must stop and England kick off their World Cup campaign against Sweden. 7 weeks after breaking a bone in his left foot, England captain David Beckham is fit to lead out the side. And Sweden's star player Freddie Ljungberg took part in training for the first time in 4 days. Well, our correspondent Daniela Ralph is at the Saitama Stadium, that's just outside Tokyo. So Daniela, it looks as though David Beckham will be leading out a relatively young side in just 12 hours' time.
He will indeed, Mary. Youth is the thing that strikes you when you look at the probable England lineup. It's full of potential, but lacking in experience in some areas. The likes of Joe Cole, Darius Vassell, Danny Mills have just a few international caps between them, and England's opening World Cup game will undoubtedly be the most important of their careers. It's a similar story for Owen Hargreaves, one of the youngest members of the squad, but his time with his club team, Bayern Munich, has actually got him used to the big occasion. Now, to balance things up, you do have those players who may still be young, but now count as veterans for England and in major competition. Michael Owen, Paul Scholes and, of course, David Beckham, who will have a crucial role in leading this mix of youth and experience.
OK, Daniela, thanks very much indeed. Don't forget, kick-off tomorrow is at 10:30. That's all your sport, Darren.
Thanks very much, Mary. Well, now back to our main story, tonight's Golden Jubilee concert at Buckingham Palace. The Queen and other members of the royal family are just now coming out of the palace to thank the crowds outside. Let's see if we can cross now to Jenny Bond, who's outside the palace. Jenny, give us a flavour of what's happening there.
Yes, well, they're getting a wonderful reception, as you can see and hear. The Queen and Duke there after this first day of Jubilee celebrations. Some of the artists with them, and I think this is a signal really of how things have changed at the palace in recent years. This decision to come right out into the crowds, not on the balcony of the palace, but right down there at ground level. And the Queen looking very delighted by the way this evening has gone.
Jenny, we're seeing something very special here tonight, aren't we?
I think we are. As I say, I think it's a sign of the changing times. Not only did we have 12,000 people inside the palace grounds, enjoying that picnic, enjoying the concert, but now a sense of inclusion, that the Queen will come out and see all those who've stayed all evening but were unable to get into the palace itself.
And Jenny, just briefly, what were the highlights of the concert tonight?
Oh, I think everyone had their own highlight, really. The 12-year-old clarinetist, for many, might have been. Seeing Kirita Kanoa was fantastic for so many people. Rostropovich in the music room of the palace. So many things, something for everyone, they said. And then the fireworks, of course, to round it all off. And I think the celebrations here are going to go on for quite some time.
Jenny, an extraordinary evening. Thank you very much indeed. Well, that's it from us. Don't forget there are regular news bulletins throughout the night over on BBC News 24. But from Mary and from me, good night.
Good evening. I'm so pleased the weather was fantastic this evening. Absolutely lovely at Buckingham Palace for the prom at the Palace. Unfortunately, not quite so good for the rest of the Jubilee celebrations. A very different story through tomorrow as it turns much more unsettled from the west. And for Monday and Tuesday, somewhat fresher again, but with some showers. A real mixed bag of weather coming up. In fact, there are already changes in the west. We've seen some thunderstorms developing across southern parts of Ireland and moving up through the Irish Sea. And we're seeing more general rain developing too across many parts of Ireland and Scotland. We really will end up pretty wet there by the end of the night. And not a great start to the day tomorrow in Scotland and Northern Ireland. Outbreaks of rain, heavy in places and continuing to move northeastwards. For England and Wales, well, hopefully not a bad start. Quite a bit of sunshine in the east, but in more western areas there will be more cloud developing with some showers, the odd rumble of thunder again, and those thunderstorms becoming rather more extensive through the afternoon, especially in northern England where we could see some torrential downpours. Thankfully, rather more scattered showers to the south, and some places missing out. But there's about a 20% chance of a thunderstorm, I think, in Birmingham tomorrow evening for the coverage of Songs of Praise. Temperatures then, a bit of a contrast. Not too warm in the west at 16 or 17, but another hot one for the Midlands and eastern England at 26 or 27 degrees. Now, by holiday Monday, a lot of that storm activity will have pushed away eastwards. I think slow to clear East Anglia, but eventually moving away. Then it'll be fresher with scattered showers and again rather a showery look to the weather on holiday Tuesday. Bye-bye.
If you have digital TV, access BBC I's interactive World Cup service by pressing the red or text button on your remote control.
World Cup 2002. The winning team from the BBC.
And Match of the Day is next tonight on BBC One. First, the National Lottery results. In the Golden Jubilee £10 million bonus draw, the winning numbers are confirmed as 6, 15, 24, 26, 31 and 48. Early indications show that there are 4 lucky winners, each winning £2.5 million. In the Lotto draw, the 6 winning numbers are confirmed as 13, 19, 27, 36, 41 and 44. The bonus number is 3. Early indications show that there are 9 lucky jackpot winners, each winning just over £700,000. Winning numbers in the Lotto Extra draw are 6, 12, 17, 22, 38 and 42. Early indications show no winners tonight, which means the Lotto Extra jackpot for the next draw has grown to an estimated £1.8 million. The National Lottery Thunderball numbers are confirmed as 15, 25, 27, 28 and 30. The Thunderball is number 2.
She's been attacked.
Did he rape you?
He bit me.
Stop calling her that. Rape victim. It's my wife you're talking about.
And she's pregnant.
That's your baby's heartbeat.
But she doesn't want the police involved.
Melanie, you have to tell someone.
What would you do?
You're harassing her.
Casualties back.
She needs help.
Next Saturday at 8:15 on BBC One.
What is the point of you being here, eh? You're never straight with me. I've had enough.
Oh, look, you've crashed.
Search the World Wide Web with BBC I's new search engine. BBC I, the search is over.
The World Cup 2002 from the BBC. Everything's covered. If you've got digital, you can go interactive now with BBC I. Press the red or text button on your remote control. Here on BBC One, Match of the Day.